Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Dean Van Dyke, and I will be standing in for Ellen Miller-Wolf tonight. And we appreciate you joining us. We have our featured speaker, Chaitra from Mela, and she will be talking about digital transformation. But before we do that, as you're joining, please go ahead and mute yourself. And as we move forward through the call this evening, please place your question into the chat box unless Chaitra calls for questions, and I know that she'll ask for questions eventually or throughout the presentation. And so with that, I believe Ellen has joined, so I will not stand in for her tonight.
And good evening, sorry.
No worries. And I will turn it over to you, Ellen.
Thank you very much. And thank you. This is going to be a wonderful, wonderful experience. I am so excited to be part of it and learn so much about this digital presence, which we all need to learn about. And obviously COVID-19 made it really critical to our bricks and mortar businesses if it hadn't been already. So I am the administrator with staff at the City of Kirkland for Startup425. And we are also partners in the Innovation Triangle with Redmond and Bellevue, which is more of a recruitment, international recruitment effort focused around IT. Many of you know how difficult it has been to do business in these times, but that's really traditionally been an issue for small businesses. 60% of small businesses fail in the first 5 years. Underserved businesses that are often owned by women, minorities, people of color, lack mentors, they lack networking opportunities, they lack the 3 M's, what we call the 3 M's, that is access to markets, access to money, and management. We at Startup425 have focused for our 5+ year lifetime on these underserved businesses, and we are especially focused on them given COVID-19. The members of Startup425 are each municipalities on the east side of Lake Washington: Renton, Bellevue, Redmond, Issaquah, Kirkland, and as I mentioned, the City of Kirkland administers 425. We are funded by those cities. We are also generously funded by the King County Library System, which itself has many, many resources for businesses, if you care to look some of those up, and also funded by the Port of Seattle, also generously funded by the Port of Seattle. Our mission, again, is to provide access to tools that experienced workers and entrepreneurs need to go from an idea to a working business in a successful and sustainable manner. Our efforts are focused on lowering the barriers to entry for those non-traditional first-time founders, those underserved businesses that I described. We are trying very much to keep the ecosystem on the east side diverse, encouraging networking and collaboration, and making sure that everyone on the east side gets to benefit from the prosperity that is our region. Here are some of the offerings of Startup425. Please stay in touch with us. The websites are listed. You're taking the foundations workshops, but we also have coming up in the late spring, summer, Small Business Essentials, which is a further drill down into what you need to know to build a business. And then finally in October, we'll be offering the Innovation Lab, which is those businesses interested in accelerating. It is run in partnership with the business professors, faculty at Bellevue College. In addition, I mentioned our focus on COVID-19. If you're interested in counseling, one-on-one counseling, we can help you within 24 hours of your contacting us via the Startup425 website with what's available in terms of federal, state, and local resources for those businesses impacted by COVID. It is a free service, and as I said, it's quick And it's also intimate. You're able to deal one-on-one with a very, very qualified business consultant. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Ellen. And Chaitra, I will turn it over to you.
Perfect. Thank you, Dean. Thank you, Ellen, for having me. I'm Chaitra Vedullapalli. I am also a co-founder and CMO at Mailer. And our mission is to create economic access for businesses through digital transformation. So as we get today, can I get a permission that can we do very interactive conversation? Because we have a very small pool of people in the chat. Will that work for all of you? Yes. So I would
Don't be
love
shy.
I know. Let's make sure all of you can. Like, so Chris, Kevin, Larry, Marilyn, Marcia, can you go in the chat and say hello, or say first? Let's make sure you are able to do the chat. I'm going to call call you all by names. We're all business owners. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you, Chris, for starting the conversation. Okay, so let's have the first question. First is, what business are you in? And what kind of decisions that you want to make today? Like, why are you here? I want to know that. What motivated you to spend an hour with us today? I like it. I like the chat is going on. Okay, while you're typing, I will share my screen and we can go from the slides. Okay. So let's go through it. So today, as we are going through the chat, what I would love to do is really focus on creating a digital presence. But as we think about it, you probably want to know, why am I here? So first of all, I have 25 years of experience doing the digital transformation work. But really, my superpowers is really creating a digital strategy for any business, from small business to an enterprise. But I focus a lot on the enterprise ecosystem supporting the small business, and a lot of public-private partnerships. So we were instrumental in building the Shop Local Kirkland initiative during the pandemic, and really launched that within 45 days from zero to like launch within the ecosystem. So, and also very good at understanding is, how does all these big brands work, like Microsoft, Google, and IBM, especially in the cloud infrastructure? How do they use, why they use, and how does a small business needs to really leverage it? Just a little bit. So before we get started, let's look at this, move it right here. So as we are chatting, I hope that you can really engage in the conversation, right? Because first, I want to know what's on top of your mind and what decisions you want to make around the digital presence. So if we can have that conversation, it makes it really, really easy for us to really have a discussion. So let's look at the conversation. Okay, excellent, Chris. So we have like conversation, which is, you are here from the city of Kirkland. You're in the first stages of setting physical therapy and Pilates business. Marilyn, yes, I will talk about that one. And I do a lot of IT services, which is fantastic. So I would love you to really take time. What decisions you want to make around digital presence? Because one of the things is not having that clarity around what decision you need to make. Whatever I say, it may not really stick to you. Okay. So I'm not a owner, but we have a presence hoping to improve. Thinking about another business in future, why it's important for business to transform digitally. Okay, so let's start with why is it important? First of all, once the pandemic hit, every business has to become digital, because the last 1 year we have seen the traffic is not coming to your, your online, to your regular store or your business. And if you didn't have a good website, it really was impacted. Only businesses who were really, really ready, and they pivoted to accommodate the pandemic driven situation, they were extremely successful. So digital skilling is the new, I would say, the superpower that everyone needs to have. A business owner, whether you're a student, everybody needs to understand how to use digital presence. So from that perspective is every business has become digital. So now there's a variation of what digital really mean. So the first one that people usually think about digital is, I just need to have a web page. Yes, that is a uh, uh, basic scenario. The other thing is like, I need to have a listing. Like this is kind of like a traditional digital journey, like a business takes. Like I need to have a business listing or a website. Second is some people too think is like, I want to have as a newsletter based email that I'm sending to the customer. Some of the businesses think I want to invest a lot in SEO optimization. And again, that's a digital transformation of your business. Some of the businesses move towards investing in the social media. And then somewhere in middle, they said, well, it's not working. It's all these random things we are doing. That's when they come and say, I need a digital strategy and a business model that creates transaction, that creates access to the customer market, also access to technology, access to all the resources you need to make your online business truly work for your business. That's what happens in a traditional mode. And then somewhere, once you have the business model, they really decide is I need an e-commerce. So they launch an e-commerce site. And then they say, well, a lot of other businesses are joining marketplaces. So then you go ahead and join a marketplace. And then you have that little conflict is, do I need to have my own e-commerce or join my marketplace? Then you go and investing in advertising, mostly social media advertising, which I'm calling as digital. And if you have more money, you will invest in, the TV or the radio. And then the last is the events. That is the journey that you take on, how you really transform your business. So in my definition, as I go through the entire things that I've looked at, hundreds and hundreds of businesses around digital presence, it's really three things. First, the digital presence is how your business appears online. So really, you should be able to measure your overall business traffic. You need to know, did I get 20 people today or did I get 50 people? If you had a physical store, you know exactly how many people are coming. So you need to know that number. Second is digital presence is how your customers are engaging with you. That is your email subscribers. You need to have that. And you need to know if someone is saying how many email subscribers you have, you should be able to say that. And third is digital presence is when customers can do business with you easily. That means they're able to do transaction and you should be able to easily say that this is my transaction happening per day. So based on these three metrics, I want you to tell me is which is the place that you're in from a digital presence. You have a website, or do you have an email subscription engine, or do you have an e-commerce? Where do you stand?
Some folks did drop some questions into the chat box as well.
Okay, go ahead. I'm just trying to get my technology to work today. Okay, so I am going to wait for you to take a moment. So let me know which part of the website or which part of the digital presence is actually working for you. Are you having like you can measure your online website traffic, you have email subscribers, and you can do transaction. Do you have that visibility to it? Okay, so you do a physical presentations, and I do have a web presence and a meetup group. So Larry, do you measure any metrics today?
Basically, I just look at how many subscribers I have, and then on my meetup, I think I have like 200 members. So it's not a huge group, but that's how we disseminate information. And before COVID hit, we were having meetups once a month,
Sure.
And we'd engage in the different members that way.
No, that's fantastic. Even 200 people in your email list is better than zero. So most of the businesses don't even know that how many subscribers are there in the email list. And most of them, they have not even considering that I need to have an email list. So Larry, that is fantastic. Ray, what about you? I see like you have a website and email subscription, online store, and Instagram. So based on that, is your environment, digital presence working for your business? And if it's yes, what else you want to make it work for you?
No, because it's not working because I usually get new subscription from. So if we get art fairs, we get a list of people who
Mhm.
want to subscribe to our email. But
Sure.
then since we don't have art fair or anything, we don't have a way to reach out to people.
Got
So
it.
it's been not
So,
working.
Ray, what I'll give you is some ideas to think about how you can increase your email subscription today. And if you do that one, because you are running, you have art and you have community around it. So we'll talk a little bit more about it. Sounds good?
Okay.
Cheryl, I see like you have a website, you engage on social media, and you have content strategy. You measure the post views, followers, etc. So what else? This is working for you? What is not working for you? Can you share that one with us?
Well, I'm looking to obviously increase the number of clients. And I think one thing that I really want to focus on is uh, getting email subscribers and converting those to sort of like newsletter subscribers and
Got it.
ultimately converting some of those leads into actual clients.
Fantastic. So we will have an answer for you. So we'll have more discussion on that piece. And Marcia, I see that you have an e-commerce square, but don't have an email subscription. Wondering if email subscription would help or annoy customer. So first is having like I see like all of you have a website, some of you have an email subscriber, and some transaction. So there are only three metrics. If as a small business, if you measure those three metrics, it will actually help you understand because these are the core metrics for your business. First is you need to know what's your overall traffic and how are you bringing that traffic to your website. So I'll talk about some techniques to work on that. Second one is getting your email subscriber. Getting your email subscriber, it requires certain techniques you have to do, which will help you build. Once you have the email subscriber, then you can start building the relationship with them based on what you give them. So it's kind of like a give and take. And once they like that, whatever you are offering them and they feel like, you are being consistent with them, then they go into a transaction. So very similar, like an example I'll give you is when you go to Costco, you will not just pick up a food product, you actually would like to taste it. So Costco brings all the traffic inside to each of the brands. And once you taste it, then you basically are able to like pick up a bag and put it into your shopping cart. And then you do. It is exactly the similar when you're doing in the online space. So as I look at it here, this is the current view of the world that we have. So 20% of the businesses, even after the pandemic, they don't have a website. They are still trying to figure out, why do I need to have a website? Right now, the digital is the new presence, and you need to because that's how customers are looking for you and connecting with you. Second is they're running a website, and most of you, like majority of the businesses, have a website. Some of them have migrated to the e-commerce site, and some of them are participating in marketplaces. And marketplaces like Etsy, marketplaces like Shop Local Kirkland, marketplaces like Amazon. These are the marketplaces, and people have made a switch. And the reason why they're switching is because if you are running an e-commerce site, you can only do so much because you cannot bring massive traffic. But the marketplaces bring in a massive traffic. And if you do with a very creative campaign, it will actually generate that email list and then you bring them back to your site. And that's where you can also drive transaction. And the very, very, very few businesses are actually generating a sustainable revenue of $2,500 or more per month. So in this group, how many of you are actually generating $2,500 or more per month? How many of you are doing it today? Anyone? Go ahead and put it in the chat. So let's do that. So I have a YouTube channel, the subscriber. Okay, so it doesn't look like a lot of you have anything working on that area. So, so before pandemic, yes, but now no. So let's work through each scenario. So the new digital journey that as you go through it, which actually creates the momentum after the pandemic happened, is most of the businesses really need to rethink their whole website strategy, their email strategy. They have to really rethink. So based on all the success businesses that I have worked with and really engaged with, the first thing they're doing is really looking back is their digital strategy and a business model. The digital strategy is what are we selling, what are we offering, who is our customer, and what is our business model? Like what is the products you are ready to sell? So if you're doing services, you need to figure out what is the offer in the ecosystem, because now you can actually sell yoga services, you can sell food services, you can do a lot of interesting business model, and there are technologies to help you do that. Once you have it, you go back and look at your website along with the commerce. You need to drive those two together. Having a website which is driving the traffic generation, e-commerce drives your transaction. Then you go into email campaigns. The campaign is to really drive your email collection. So you're consistently collecting the email. So you have that infrastructure in place. So you're driving your infrastructure, right? Your email subscriber base. Then you'll go look into the marketplaces and leverage their advertising. Most of the marketplaces, what they're doing is they're showcasing multiple businesses every week, and they're sending to massive their subscriber base. For example, the T-Mobile Tuesday, it goes out to millions of people. So if you're a small business and if you're part of their portfolio of companies, automatically you are getting a lot of traffic, and they have created as a marketplace. If you are a technology services company, you should be in Microsoft, Google, and Amazon marketplaces. So there are different marketplaces for different type of business. So you need to join that so that you can leverage their advertising and also their engines that are working. And then participate in events, really invest in events, because the events allow you to give that visibility and the automatic connection to the ecosystem, so that you're talking about your product or you're talking about a thought leadership content allows you to really engage with a new set of audience. Then you consider investing in social. Once all these engines are working, once you invest in social and your customers are engaged, that will start to work really well, because now you have campaigns and the social media helps you really connect new set of people and the existing customers to connect. And then you start investing in the digital advertising. So share, Marsha, I see you said yes. Can you tell your story of how have you gone about creating $2,500 per month or more using the digital marketing? But this is the new engine that we are seeing that is really taking traction for a lot of small businesses.
Oh, this is Cheryl. I was saying pre-pandemic, yes. And part of it is that the majority of clients that I had are really based on referrals. I kept up a consistent content presence, specific social media, like on a couple of Facebook groups and on LinkedIn, and did blog posting and whatnot on my own website. But a lot of it was really through referrals.
Absolutely.
Digital was to support that, or to continue to sort of enhance my brand imagery. Where I'm looking to, and certainly when the pandemic hit, was that some of my clients were in businesses that, like, let's say travel and things like that, that were very hard hit by the pandemic. So, sort of lost those pieces of business. I did have a question, I may have missed it, was when you're talking about marketplaces, because I'm in a service business, what were the marketplaces that I'd want to be looking at?
So Cheryl,
Amazon and places like that.
So talk to me through what is the service that you're offering today?
Well, I work as a virtual chief marketing officer for small businesses. So offer, so basically all of your big companies have huge marketing departments that
Yes.
execute everything for them. Small businesses don't have that. And whether it's a small business owner themselves don't have marketing training or background, or they just don't have time to do marketing. In many cases, they might try to bring in someone junior, but they don't know the right things to do. They don't have the time to supervise them. The junior person doesn't have expertise. And the key thing that I found when I was doing sort of my research going into this area was that a whole lot of the small businesses really lacked basic market strategy, their marketing strategy, right? So they often were like, oh, you know, I'm a lawyer and I'm on Pinterest. And it was like, well, are your clients on Pinterest? No. So why are you wasting your time on Pinterest? So really helping them, you know, sort of build their marketing strategies. And then I bring in specific experts, area experts to do execution. So like I said, the thing is, for a lot of my business was coming definitely from referrals. Now, everything has gone digital, so you no longer have those networking meetings and things like that. How do you stand out digitally from the plethora of people who say, oh, I do marketing consulting or something like that, but maybe they do, you know, in-design or one specific area. I really focus much more on strategy.
Sure. So, Cheryl, a couple of ways to look at from your perspective, right? So, first is like CMO as a service that can also go in a couple of marketplaces. Upwork actually have started to create those experiences, which is service based, which allows you to where people can easily purchase that service automatically from Upwork. So, if you have not looked into it, I would consider you looking into it. The second place is going into the vendor ecosystem of, let's say, T-Mobile, Microsoft, Google, Amazon's of the world, and you go and say, listen, all these businesses need this particular service, so you create CMO service as an offering, and then you basically do a training for their vendor ecosystem because everybody is struggling to get to digital, right? So you basically provide a training, a free training, and a service model that allows the businesses to come in. And if they're part of the bigger ecosystem, they also have the funding and the money to activity. So those would be two things. And the third one is if you have any simple technologies around, let's say an assessment tool or maybe some kind of a marketing widget that you have, then I would say is share it on the Microsoft marketplace. Then we have Salesforce marketplace, Google marketplace. These are the ones which are allowing businesses like yours and mine to really shine on those marketplaces. And they actually promote to a plethora of one. Recently, we were part of the Build for 2030 campaign by Microsoft, which reached around 10 million people. And we were part of the 10 solutions, which was highlighted within their ecosystem from the marketplace. So those are just the ways to look into, because the future where the customers are going to be hanging out or where they will be exploring solutions will be in the digital marketplace. So the time has come, and that is the place I would recommend you to invest in.
Thank you. That's great.
Perfect. So I also have Marcia. So Marcia, do you want to talk about your situation, and then we can go into answering any question you have?
Yeah. I'm not the owner, so I've just been kind of on board with the small business for a little while, and we're thinking about whether or not we should take some more steps in social media or email, or what we could add to our current plans.
So Marcia, are you able to measure your traffic, your subscribers, and your transaction? Are you able to do all those three things right now?
Yeah, I believe we can. I haven't been looking into it, but I know we don't have subscribers really. We have customers. We don't have an email system. We don't have them all in one email database right now, and I'm not sure if they would want to be in that or not. So I'm wondering if there are some models where you just don't use email at all, or if it's always a good idea.
I would say, Marcia, having is email, website, and your transaction engine, whether it's on marketplace or it is your own e-commerce. Those three things is a mandatory thing going forward. If you're not doing that one, then what happens is you're actually missing a lot of opportunity. So as part of doing that is just do a digital strategy and a business model with your owner of the company. And then if you need a CMO, then you have, Cheryl right here. So you both should be connected right away. So she can help you think through how all the pieces come in. Don't invest a single dollar in any social media till you know that the revenue is coming in. You need to know how the revenue is coming in or how the subscribers are coming in. Once you know that it's happening, then you invest in that engine more and more. That is my rule of thumb. For getting your first $1,000, you will get pretty much understanding of how your digital presence is working or not. Okay, is that helpful?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so the question was Upwork. So if you go to upwork.com, basically you can either become a freelancer and sell your services, but now there are businesses who are sharing like packaged services for customers, and they can buy easily, and they are tiered services, which is a very recently added capability. Absolutely phenomenal as a business owner, because you can really do anything with digital marketing at a very reasonable cost. So if you're considering that, so take a look at it, okay? So now going into a couple of things. First is customer acquisition. So these are some must-have assets. When you're looking about is your total views, you really need to have is your modern website with active blog. So if you do not have an active blog, you're really not bringing the customers to your site or a potential customer. Second is the SEO audit, and it's optimized. So I'll show you some of the tools to look into. E-commerce, you should have products or services, but predominantly people like to buy products. So some kind of an offer on your site is a must have, because people are always doing price comparison. So if you have a product and when customers are looking for it and it's SEO optimized and you have a modern website, makes it good. And the last one is YouTube videos. And I always recommend people to do is how-to videos, and really providing guidance on how to use your product, or maybe giving information about. So if you're a yoga teacher, then you are thinking about, poses that you need to consider when working in front of your computer. So kind of information that people are looking for. And that are just 4 necessary assets that you need to have in place just to create traffic for your business. Okay. The second one is customer acquisition for email subscribers. So before I go there, let me share some of the things here. So active blog would look is where you are putting all the tags. So this gives you a very clear idea on the blog, that's everybody can find it, makes it make it colorful, they get information about it. So it's very important to have an active blog on your website, because it keeps people coming to here. The second one, SEO audit, I would say is go to neilpatel.com, and he basically does is it's a free service. So I do not have any affiliation, so I just want to give you is, if you go through his website, he will analyze your website, and then he gives you a 7-week action plan, which really saying is how to find your profitable keywords, how to do an SEO site audit. Then if you want to create a shareable content, what does that look like? Advanced tracking, how to set up your Google Analytics, link building, and then branding and experience, and advanced content marketing. And all these things are available. These are all the assets available for you. But if you need something, that can be. And so Cheryl, as you're thinking about like a CMO as a service, as part of the overall portfolio. So this kind of is a great way for people to come in and give you their email list. See, this one requires you to actually do is go through the process, and then they do ask you for your email before you can actually have access to the action plan. Okay. And then
Excellent.
he also has a tool called as Uber Suggest, which is actually about a keyword analyzer. So you can look at your keywords and you can analyze and you can see the volume and CPC, so and then you really look at it. You can start with your free. If you want to do a trial, you can always do it, but just do the searches, or you can also do the Google keyword search to really do your SEO piece. E-commerce, we already talked about, and YouTube videos, you already know how that works, right? So now coming to the email subscribers, this is an interesting one. Not many people really understand how to do it really well. I always recommend is to create digital campaign and contest, 4 to 6 per year, because campaigns and contests create very, very cool way of audience to get engaged. Yesterday I got interesting, let me talk about this one. Yeah, let me find that. It was a dance studio, which is the author, there's a dance studio in Bellevue. So it's a dance studio in Bellevue, and it's the Arthur Murray dance one. It says for people who are age 40 and above, they're looking for 8 people who they want to really give a free dance classes for 6 weeks. And if you're interested, please subscribe here and we will schedule a call with you. I bet you they probably have got like 500 people signing up because everyone was sharing that particular campaign with all the friends in the Bellevue area. So very creative one. I have done like many contests. Contests can be around templates. It can be around solution ideas, but consider 4 to 6 because that creates is your email list, also connects with your audience. The second one is creating templates and cheat sheets. This is the new way of getting the subscribers. So you have a YouTube video and you're talking about how to, but people want to have the cheat sheet. You just say,
Did she just freeze on us, or?
I believe her video has frozen. We'll see if she rejoins here in a minute. Looks like she lost her internet. She will rejoin shortly, I'm sure. Apologize for the delay in our programming this evening.
It happens.
That it does. There she is.
I think
there you go.
okay, where did I stop? Did I stop at like digital campaigns or templates and cheat sheet?
Templates and cheat sheets.
Okay, so most of the customers love to get access to templates and cheat sheet. One of the templates which I've really seen is Business in a Box, and they send you free templates around every template from hiring, firing, expense management, onboarding people. So there are a lot of templates. So I started to give my email address just to get a template and then realized they had Business in a Box subscription and all the agreements and templates were there. So I really didn't have to now work with my legal person because I had the basic templates. I finished all the work and she would just look at it and then we would have, execute through the DocuSign. So think about like creating some strategic templates for your business where the customers can get value. So you can do a YouTube video, and from there, you basically say, please download this template and cheat sheet to really do whatever they need to do. The third one is sharing some special and exclusive offers. So let's say You have like the best in town, let's say an ice cream that you're going to be launching. And if people want to get that exclusive access for that special ice cream, then they have to give the email address, and that becomes very viral very quickly. So considering those kind of ideas. And the one which really generates really good email list is either you host an event or join events. So if you're hosting events, people do sign up. And if you're hosting events with each other, then the sign up process becomes very easy. Again, like if you do your event registration on Eventbrite or Brown Bag, they already have a marketplace and they're promoting in their marketplace of all the events. And then if you share it on LinkedIn and Facebook, basically everybody's coming to your event, they're signing up, and that becomes part of the email subscriber list. So that is just kind of the way to gather the email subscriber. And if you do like campaigns, some templates, have an exclusive offer and events, then you actually have a sustainable email subscriber. People just coming to your website to give you email, those days are gone. They want to get something for giving you an email list, because email list has become a premium commodity, not like before. Then is the third one is increasing your digital transactions. And that is the advanced way of creating the customers and driving the transaction with them. First is doing e-commerce, like just do the e-commerce so people can transact with you on your site. I was recently in Hawaii. I will tell you, I did not go to the store to do anything. Everything was done on a digital transaction. I basically open the phone, purchase whatever service I need or food I need, basically swipe the card and good. And businesses that didn't have, I really didn't transact with them. So considering e-commerce as a way for transacting with your business is a good idea. And actually it's a fabulous idea, especially in today's world. Second is join marketplaces. Depending upon what you're doing, consider digital marketplace as one of the core strategies, because that's where a lot of the customers are hanging out and that's where they're looking for what they need. And if you are very close to that entity, the marketplace owners and the business leaders, they actually will tell you exactly what you're looking for, and you can pivot your businesses to accommodate the needs of the ecosystem, because you have the buyers and the sellers in that marketplace, so you can figure out which ecosystem you want to serve and create an offer. Third is corporate offers. Creating, if you have a product, if it's on your website, making that product easily available for the corporate buyers. Right now, the money is actually sitting with the corporate companies. Most of the money is actually moving towards corporate. So having some kind of a corporate offer for their employee base will be pretty, I would say, substantial and also beneficial. So if you have not thought about that strategy, I'll ask you to consider that, is to really create a product or a service to serve, I would say, mid-sized to enterprise companies. And third one is events, really creating events which are transactional in nature. So you're pricing the event. So even if it's a digital event, create an experience which allows people to connect. They're doing workshop, or maybe is a accelerator, whatever that takes, which has the events feel where people are connecting and learning, that also creates a lot of transaction. So that's pretty much like the basic assets you need to have. So depending upon the journey you're taking, creating the right assets and engaging in the right assets will make you very, very successful. So here are some 5 habits that, what I've seen with strong business leaders who are pivoting to make their business ready. So first is they really are approaching with a digital ready mindset. That means I'm going to embrace digital transformation, really going to invest in it, and really make sure my business is digitally ready to really attract the customers online. It can be through mobile, it can be through your desktop, it can be through social. So everyone is able to really get what they need through the digital, highway. Second is business model. Really, we'll start with having a business model, why I need to become a digital business. If you're not, you probably are missing a lot of market shares. So you want to really make sure that your business model is there. and get your digital ready business model, it takes at least 3 months to 6 months to start to see the value. Just don't go invest money into areas without knowing what your business model would look like, whether it is subscription business, whether it's product purchases, or it is, bulk sales, or it is like as a service, or it's an events, whatever that business model is, you need to be very clear. And third is invest in the right tools. There are like thousands of tools right now, and it's popping like crazy. I would recommend you to go to appsumo.com. That is where you get a 90 to 95% discounted on those products. So if you really want to try it out, that's a marketplace. So you can find all these amazing tools without spending hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. And when you have a tool, make sure you have the right person behind the tool running and maintaining it. Most of the businesses will buy the subscription of the tool, but they will not invest in the people to manage it. It's like a machine. So you need to take care of a machine. So you need to invest in people. And the fourth one is experiment. Like experiment all your approaches to the metrics that really matter for your business. So if you are not very clear what your metric is, then you are not going to invest in the right experiment. Not all the ideas are going to work. That's just the reality of it. But at least you're experimenting every month, every quarter, so you know what metrics. And last one is really focus on execution. That is metrics that you basically care about, right? What it matters. If you focus on the metric driven, you do the right experimentation, do the investment, small investment. I say is do micro investment and really collaborate with your community with the right business model. I bet you your business will be extremely successful and you will hit that $1 million mark. That is not hard at all. So that's kind of the 5 habits I have that I have seen consistently. And if you can leverage that habits, it really will help your business. And the last one is if you want to connect with me, you can connect with me through LinkedIn. But before we go through that, I want to kind of go through is there any questions that are on top of your mind that you want me to answer? So I can go do show and tell, give you look at all the tools that are available so we can work through them. Okay, I'll stop sharing and then have everybody have a conversation. Larry, any questions? Ray, Jewel, Mickey? Okay, since you are quiet, let's see if we have. Okay, let's look at some cool tools then. So, how many of you have used Canva? If you have not used Canva, it's a free service, really helpful. It has all the templates that you need. If you want to create an Instagram story, you want to create a Facebook, you really don't have to even have a designer working for you. Like it doesn't. Here are some posters, presentations. So let's say if you want to create a presentation, let's say you want to create a card. It's as simple as going and creating a card. It gives you a card. You can change the text, you can download the card, or you can also print the card and it basically gets delivered to your house. So that one is a fantastic tool. So to really create social media content or any website content, this is a great place. Same thing, if you want to create a video, it allows you to do it, print products, marketing, office, everything is in one place. If you want to buy is a subscription of it, feel free to buy it. But free one works really, really well, okay? The second one is Pixabay. If you want to really get free pictures, because most of the small businesses are struggling, where do I find those pictures and how do I find it? Then you have is your Pixabay. You can go in and download the visuals and makes it very easy for you, okay? The third one is, I would say, if you want to really check how ready you are, this is an assessment tool that we have created. So you can take a look at it. We worked with Microsoft and SBA to create this assessment tool 4 years ago to really help the businesses understand how ready they are. So you can definitely leverage that. When you are working on, if you have a physical copy of the book, so you basically have a page, but always have not only just buying, but also having is a bulk buy. That is where the corporate can basically buy your products. So make that one easily visible on your site. So those are kind of ideas. And then Etsy is doing really good job right now, is they are actually doing all the popular products. And if you are into like creative ecosystem, then recommend you to consider. I know there are challenges with working with the marketplace because they are very restrictive, their policies are very tight. But if you want to really look into how to engage in a marketplace, that would be a good approach to consider. So that's pretty much I have for the content perspective. So I would love to, say is thank you for taking time and being here. And if there's any other questions you have, I am open to answering.
I believe Ray had one. It seems
Okay.
like I'm stuck in some algorithms. I want to get access to the same audience and wants to expand the audience.
Ray, is it about is it in Etsy, or is it in a different context? In Instagram. So it seems like I'm stuck in some algorithm and I only get access to the same audience, but I want. So Ray, so here is what the social media companies have done, is they are doing like algorithms for everyone. So what you see versus what I see versus what Dean sees are very different because it's all based on the social preference. The best way to gain new audience is doing a couple of things. First is do a contest on Instagram. Instagram contest is the best. People love, they engage, so, and it virally travels very well. Second is do short videos on Instagram because that allows people to click and like and do it small, like 30 seconds to 45 seconds. People like to engage on that. The third one is also share other content from other community that you are partnered with, not random, but very synergistic content, and you share that one so their ecosystem starts to come and start recognizing. And the last one is get some influencers in the ecosystem where they're talking about your product. That's kind of what Instagram, and that's how it works. So considering some of the ideas will help you. Was that helpful? Perfect. Any other questions that we have? Okay. I think we have answered most of the questions then.
It looks like it.
Yep.
Oh, there's one.
So Mickey, so how did a 6-dot analyzer work? So what it does is it gives you 6 areas that you can measure. One is the infrastructure of your business. What is all the digital infrastructure from your Wi-Fi to hardware to, so security, all that stuff. So that's the hardware. The second one is the office component. How is your collaboration and office capability, the solutions? How is it working for your business? Number 3, it focuses on digital presence. How are you positioned and where are you? So it gives you red, yellow, green on that. Then it focuses on a lot around is your e-commerce place. And the last one is advertising. So there are 6 areas that it goes in and gives you red, yellow, green around 30 different parameters. And if you want, I can send you as an example of it if you put in your email address. Or you can take that analyzer and go through your own assessment. And if you have any questions, reach out to me and we can always answer that. But it gives you a very quick snapshot of where are the areas that you should be looking into and considering. Okay. And Kevin, I didn't hear anything from you. Is there all the questions answered for you? So let me do is put in the analyzer URL, and I would love you to take that assessment. It takes like 3 minutes to 5 minutes. It's fairly very easy, but it gives you a very quick review of your business, one page, and you know exactly what the challenges are. And it really was created with Microsoft to help all the small businesses to really understand where they are struggling, because digital presence is not just a website. It's really a series of things you need to think about, from security to Wi-Fi to your computers to, you know, marketing tools to office tool. You really needed to look at end to end, so it gives you all the pieces. So Larry, I see a question. I do a lot of tech content, how-to videos. What strategies have you seen that has successfully monetized content production? So some of the things, Larry, which I've seen is, as you're building the tech content, the places where people can really, like, more like a training content is where I've seen people. So thinking about Coursera content, you should be considering Coursera as a marketplace and creating a relevant content, because right now the top 10 jobs across the world is all the digital jobs, right? Cloud architect, customer success manager. So there are like certain roles, they're top 10 roles that you can organize the content and create a Coursera content. That will help you create the monetization, and you closely work with them and do the marketing, then it's very powerful. The second one, LinkedIn, also under the lynda.com, that is also another place to consider. The other thing is, when you're thinking about online video, there are small snippets that goes on YouTube that really is free content, but you always need to have maybe a training or an event or maybe an accelerator that you're putting people through, and that is where the revenue is coming from. But I've not seen right now where people are buying just access to the videos unless until it is part of a curriculum, or when people are trying to learn something or get a certification. People are not investing just free, because content has become free right now because of the pandemic. So thinking about creative ways would help you a lot. Was that helpful, Larry?
Yes, it was. Thank you.
Okay. Okay,
Can you
so
paste those websites you mentioned into the chat session?
sure.
Thank you.
And I'll have access to the deck also that I presented, so you can have all the content. And please feel free to reach out to me through LinkedIn if you need any questions to be answered. And if you want access to a specific people in the ecosystem, let us know. I will also get the connection done. And Dean and Ellen, thank you for having me today. Hopefully it was valuable to everyone.
Absolutely. I think I want to thank you for joining us, and content was great, and getting some thumbs up already, which is awesome, and all the wonderful resources. I just wanted to close out with a few announcements. One is, in June, we'll be having a little bit more in-depth sessions called Small Business Essentials. And then in August 7th, we'll have an event called Boost Your Business. And that will be centered around, it's all online, and it'll be centered around the morning, or the AM will be topics that are covered, such as potentially this one right here. And then in the afternoon, you can connect with those vendors via an online vendor fair, and we'll have breakout rooms as well during those events. And you'll see more of that information on our website, startup425.org. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening, and have a great rest of your day. And I will send the recording as well as a survey to you on Thursday, and as well as a link to the deck that was used for tonight. So thank you very much, Chaitra. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and have a great rest of your night.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.